Hello everyone, welcome to part 4 of this video series about VMware vSphere 5.5. In this video I'm going to show you how we can create VMs inside ESXi host, and then we'll be installing vCenter 5.5 Windows based. We'll be exploring vCenter 5.5 configuration, and then we'll be installing and configuring vCenter appliance 5.5. So let's jump onto our environment. Now in our environment we have a DC, we have a DC with a domain controller with an IP address 192.168.100.10, whereas VC is, I named it VC, which is Canop's domain name, and vCenter, but it does not have a vCenter. How do we know? Just to verify, we can go to all program, start all program, VMware. If it would have been a vCenter, you should see more menu items, whereas we can see only vSphere client, so this machine only has a client. Now let's connect to these two ESXi hosts from this. The way we can connect is just double click open client, use a root account since we are directly connecting to the ESXi host. Now this is a big difference between connecting directly to ESXi host or connecting to vCenter. In vCenter we'll be using administrator account. Here, whenever directly connecting to ESXi host, we'll be connecting through root account. Now this is my ESXi host. It only shows me one machine, and we have been through these settings, and we'll be going through these settings again later on. For now, let's create one VM. I can go into VM, I can right click here, create a VM, or I can just click this icon, create a VM. You have many ways to create a VM inside ESXi host. We'll go with typical install. The difference between typical and custom: in custom it would give you more menu options like CPU, memory, whereas in typical it automatically selects those options for us. For now we're gonna go typical. Name the machine. I would highly recommend naming them following proper naming convention. So I would name it Canop's VM01. Next, which disk do you want to install this VM on? I'm going to install it in Data Store 1. And here, what type of machine it can be? It can be Windows machine. For now, I'm just creating a dummy VM without OS. So for now it is just, I can select any operating system. Now here, disk provisioning, we'll go with thin provisioning. Thick provisioning would take complete 40 gigs immediately from your physical disk, and thin provisioning, it won't take 40 gigs, but it would take the disk that it is using. For example, if I install Windows and it takes only 5 gigs, it is 5 gigs it's going to take from the physical disk. For now we're going to go with thin provisioning. And next, done. VM1 is created. Now I'm going to create a second VM just to have another VM within this. Go with typical install, name it as VM202, yes, 02, and next, same, and done with thin provisioning. Along with these, I'm going to create a third VM, but we'll create the third VM later on. So two VMs on this, and both VMs are sitting on this host. So let's leave it for now as is. Now let's install vCenter inside. For now there is, so I'm going to install a Windows based vCenter. In order to have a Windows based vCenter, what we need to do is we need to first of all mount the vCenter CD. So I'm going to go into vCenter VM's properties. Within VM property I'll go to CD. Within CD I'll go to browse. Now VMvisor is a hypervisor, whereas VC55 is my ISO for vCenter. Now as soon as you insert the CD, make sure, keep an eye on this should be green and is not grayed out, otherwise CD will not be mounted. So since normally it comes, the autoplay automatically comes. If it doesn't, we can go to my computer, and it is right here. Just double click on this. So as you double click, it will show you the screen. This is a vCenter CD ISO. We can do vCenter installation. We can only install, if you want, vSphere client, or we can install all these tools as well. If you have a license, then it gives you everything according to what license you have. If you don't, this is a 60 days evaluation version. It can be easily downloaded from VMware's website. Now VMware vCenter install is done in two ways. It can be a simple install that automatically configures these components: vCenter single sign-on, vCenter web client, vCenter inventory services, vCenter server. Or you can also do a custom install in which you can do these all four components that works with vCenter individually. So for now I'm going to go with simple install and just click install. Now it first of all it says that it does not have enough RAM. So for this vCenter, it has to have at least 4 GB of memory in this system, whereas if I go to this VM, it shows me 2 GB. So I need to increase it to 4 GB, but for that we need to restart this machine. Let's see if it can recognize. No, it won't recognize. I have to restart this machine, this complete machine. So let's restart it. Okay, now machine is restarted. Let me log in. Once it is logged in, we're gonna go again, go to my computer, go to the same CD, start the setup, and start a simple install. This time it will start, since I do have more than 4 gigs of net RAM added to this. Now while it is doing, since it is a simple install, what it does is it has to install all these 4 components, but it will install all these 4 components automatically. It will take some time, so we'll be seeing this installation. So it would ask you few questions in the beginning. So single sign-on, first of all, it's a single sign-on service that was first time introduced in version 5.1, and now it is upgraded to 5.5. Single sign-on was not part of vSphere 5 or the previous version. Now here at this point, it is very important that we should remember that this password is different from Windows administrator password. So you must remember this password. Now this password requires that you have one number, one special character, and this is different from your Windows administrator password. You must remember this password. It creates its own domain inside, which is vsphere.local. It does not follow the canaps.com domain that I have in Active Directory. Now remember this password. If you lose this password, you might need to reinstall everything. So this is an encrypted password. It is single sign-on service. So this password is for single sign-on service. Next, it will connect to default first site. Since that's the only site I have, you can connect it to configure this for any other site as well. HTTPS port, it shows you it is going to install it in this location, and install. So now since it is installing it, in the meantime let's look at this, because if I go to custom install, so these are the 4 roles that are being installed: single sign-on, web client, inventory services, vCenter server. Now if we just look at this, install vCenter single sign-on, web client, inventory, vCenter services separately to customize the location configuration of each component. Install the component in this order. First you must install single sign-on, then web client, then vCenter, and then vCenter inventory services, and then vCenter. Now the custom installation mostly is used when you need to install these roles on separate servers in large environment. In our case, we'll be installing all the 4 roles in one server. That's why we went to simple install. In large environment, you can have single sign-on on a separate server, web client on separate server, inventory services on separate server. Now, since it is a simple install, it will keep on installing everything with a minimal touch. So I'm gonna pause the video here. Whenever it stops, I'm gonna start recording again. So it's been 3-4-5 minutes. The installation is keep on going by its own. This screen did vanish for a few moments and then it came back again. I would say just wait until this process is completely finished and vCenter is completely installed. So I'm gonna again pause the video and then I'll continue again. Okay, now it is installing vCenter inventory services. It just finished installing SSO service. It's an automatic process. It automatically starts when one is finished. So now it stopped here with this message saying a script on this page causing your web browser to run slow. So do not click no, just say yes, the script needs to be continued. If it continues to run, we need to select no. We need the script to be continued so that the installation can be completed. So now it did install SSO. It was installing the inventory services. Web client is already installed. After that, it's going to install vCenter. Now single sign-on is used for single sign-on purposes. Whenever these services needs authentication within vCenter, single sign-on services kicks in. Whereas web client is a service that is used to access vCenter over the internet from any machine that does not have a vSphere client. Okay, so it's asking for, now since it is installing vCenter, it has installed web client, inventory services, vCenter license. I don't have a license. If you have a license, you can use that license. Otherwise, it's done for, it will be for 60-day evaluation. Now here it is asking for SQL Server. It can use a free version of SQL Server, which is Express Edition. You can use a real SQL Server, but for that you're gonna make a DSN, and DSN is based on ODBC connector, and this is used to connect to any other external SQL Server. For now we'll be using just a free version of SQL Server, and this is since it's a free version, it is good for 5 hosts and 50 VMs. Here it is asking for the password. We'll go with the defaults, the ports that it's gonna use, and it is how big would be your inventory. Now inventory includes how many ESXi hosts, how many VMs. So since it is a test environment, I'm gonna go with the least, which is 100 hosts and 1000 machines. Next, and again no, let it continue. Now should go and install vCenter for us. So web client is used for accessing vCenter over the internet or intranet, whereas inventory services are used to manage inventory. Inventory includes hosts, ESXi hosts, VMware components, other components, VMs within the environment. So all those settings about those hosts and VMs are stored within SQL Server, but it is handled by inventory services. So it is now configuring vCenter. It is actually installing vCenter, and let's see, it's gonna take a few more moments here. It is setting up SQL Express Edition. Since it's a test environment we can work with, you can go with SQL Test Edition. So it's gonna be doing everything on its own. Once it stops, I'm gonna start the recording again. Okay, installation is finished. It took about 20-25 minutes, less than 25 minutes, for complete vCenter installation to be done through simple install. Now let's verify if vCenter has been completely installed. We can go inside all programs, VMware. Now this is all vCenter. This means that vCenter is installed on the server. So in this, and before moving on to the next video, let's try and connect to the vCenter. The way we can connect to a vCenter is through vSphere web client. I would open vSphere web client, log into this. Now when connecting to a web client, it would need a flash player. So it is asking for the flash player. For this machine has to be connected to internet, which this machine is not. I'm gonna quickly try connecting it to the internet by adding another network card. I'll bridge this connection. At the same time, on the same machine, so one network card is for the local network, the other network card is for the internet. But before going there, let me switch off the IE security, configure IE. It is already switched off, and let's try that again. Hopefully it should go connect to Adobe Acrobat to get to download flash player. I'll pause the video here just to make just not to have this video lengthy. And now it is 17 minutes. Maybe we can go 3 more minutes here. So let's quickly install. Where is it? I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna install flash player, and then I'll come back again. So here, okay, flash player is installed. It was a straightforward install. Once it is installed, I'll go back to the VMware vSphere web client, and this time it connects me to the VMware web client. vSphere. Now you can access the same link from any other machine. All you need to do is change to the IP address of vCenter or the name. Now one thing that is very important here, it is we need to use you can use a UPN, which is administrator at vSphere.local, or you can go with vSphere.local/administrator. Both ways it can work. Remember, this is the password for SSO service. And authenticating. Now, in previous vCenters, vSphere 5, vSphere 4, we used to log in with the local admin password, but here, since due to SSO, we're logging in with on a vSphere.local domain, and this is a vCenter. So in this video we're going to stop right here. In the next video we're going to explore vCenter, and also we're going to install vSphere vCenter appliance. Thank you for watching this video.